Have you ever noticed how the term entrepreneurship seems to be absolutely everywhere these days? I mean, it's buzzing across social media, it pops up in conversations, and it feels like everyone's either an entrepreneur or, trying to be one. But even though it's such a buzzword, the actual meaning can feel a bit slippery, right? Like you can't quite pin it down. Well, today, we're diving deep into exactly that. This deep dive is all about truly unpacking entrepreneurship. We'll look at the basic definition, it's kind of surprising history, discover the different shapes it takes, and maybe most importantly, figure out what really makes it different from just starting a business. We've really been digging into a fantastic training unit on this, pulling out the most crucial insights and, well, some really interesting facts. Our mission, simple, to help you, our listener, get a really clear, solid understanding. We want to pull out those aha moments without making your head spin. The goal is for you to walk away feeling well-informed, ready to see this vital economic concept with fresh eyes. So let's start right at the beginning. Beyond just starting a business, what's the fundamental idea here?
Well, what's fascinating is how global the idea has become, even though the word itself has specific roots. Entrepreneur is French, obviously, and it was only relatively recently translated into Arabic. Sometime in the early 2000s, maybe 2000 to 2010, that's when entrepreneurship became XO and entrepreneur became XO's through. So it really cemented its global reach then. And our source gives us a really precise definition. Entrepreneurship is creating a project with added economic value, characterized by innovation and involving risk. This definition points to three essential characteristics. These are what really set it apart.
Okay, so it's not just about like opening a shop. You said added economic value. What does that actually mean? Is it just making more money?
Right, good question. Added economic value isn't just about profit. It means the project aims to achieve distinctive financial returns. The difference is important. True entrepreneurial value often comes from creating a whole new market or, totally shaking up an existing one. You're not just competing on price. You're offering something that fundamentally changes things. Then there's innovation or creativity. This is really the engine. It means offering something new that makes the project stand out from everything else. It's not just a slightly better mousetrap. It's a genuinely different approach or solution. And finally, calculated risk. Now, this word gets misunderstood a lot. It's not about being reckless, not gambling. It's what the source calls a studied risk, a deliberate, informed decision, not just a random shot in the dark. The real insight, I think, is that calculated risk isn't about eliminating uncertainty. It's about understanding it well enough to maybe even use that uncertainty as an advantage. You assess the downsides, sure, but you still step into it for that bigger potential payoff.
That makes sense, especially that idea of using uncertainty as an advantage. That's key. And when you look at it like that, you start seeing these characteristics pop up everywhere, don't you? From huge global companies to local businesses. Our source points to names we all know, like Google, YouTube, Amazon, Twitter, Netflix, Uber. Prime examples. They all brought something new, created massive economic value, and definitely took calculated risks. And it's not just the tech giants. Locally, right here in the Saudi market, you see that same spirit. Think about Hunger Station, Careem, Missile, Haraj, Paytabs, B-Tech, even Elbake. Every single one showed real creativity, added unique value, and took big calculated risks to get where they are. Looking across all those examples, tech, food, e-commerce, what's a common thread you see?
The common thread is exactly those three core characteristics in action. Whether it's a global tech behemoth or a regional innovator in, say, food delivery or online marketplaces, they all prove entrepreneurship isn't tied to one industry or technology. It's a mindset. A mindset applied to a project that wants to innovate, add unique value, and yes, bravely navigate risk.
Okay, that really clarifies the core idea for me. It makes me wonder, though, how does something so fundamental then show up in such different ways? What are the different types of entrepreneurship out there in the real world?
That's a great question. Because as interest grows globally, you see lots of different types emerging. Our source focuses on three main ones: corporate entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, and digital entrepreneurship. Let's start with corporate entrepreneurship. You might also hear it called entrepreneurship. Basically, this is entrepreneurship inside an existing established company. Its main goal: improve profitability, kickstart new projects internally, make the company more competitive. The key thing here is the employees. Employees with that entrepreneurial spark are the drivers. They spot opportunities and innovate from within, often pushing against, the way things have always been done in a big organization. Think about Sony PlayStation. That whole idea came from an employee, right? Nintendo apparently rejected it first. But Sony saw the potential, ran with it, and boom, major product, and a key role for that employee. Or Starbucks. That simple idea of writing names on cups, that came from an employee. Management recognized the value in that small touch, rolled it out globally, and now it happens about 1 billion times a year in 30,000 stores. That's entrepreneurship creating huge value. Okay, next up, social entrepreneurship. This is about creating entrepreneurial projects, but the main focus is on social or environmental goals. But here's the key difference from, say, traditional charity. Social entrepreneurship still aims for profit. It needs to be sustainable. Examples could be things like awareness apps, guidance websites, community health clinics, productive families initiatives, or youth projects that blend doing good with a viable business model. Globally, the big name is Muhammad Yunus, founder of Grameen Bank. He won the Nobel Peace Prize back in '06. He pioneered microfinance, giving small loans to the poor. It totally changed their economic prospects and proved you can mix business and social good. And locally, in Saudi Arabia, you have the MISC Foundation, the Mohammed bin Salman Charity Foundation. They offer programs empowering the community in business, culture, social sciences, really embodying that social entrepreneurial spirit. And finally, there's digital entrepreneurship. This is basically using information and communication tech, ICT, to create entrepreneurial projects. Often means setting up online businesses, selling services or products online, maybe without any physical store at all. The scope here is huge. We're talking e-commerce, AI, social media influencers, mobile apps, IoT, the virtual world, e-marketing companies, all that stuff. Practical examples are everywhere now. Freelancing, online teaching, content creation, YouTubing, running e-stores. Really, any product or service you can deliver digitally.
It's kind of amazing when you break it down like that. You realize how often you encounter these different types. As you're listening to this, I bet you're already thinking, where have I seen that? Maybe you've even been part of one yourself.
And if we zoom out a bit, connect this to the bigger picture. For any of these types of entrepreneurship to really work, to succeed, it needs certain fundamental pieces to come together. It's like a blueprint, almost.
Right. So for someone listening who's thinking about starting something or even just wants to understand what makes these ventures tick, what are those fundamental building blocks, the absolute essentials?
Well, our source lays out 4 core elements that really need to interact for success. First, and you could argue it's the most critical, is the entrepreneur themselves. Success really depends on that person having the right mix of skills, knowledge, experience. The ability to spot opportunities, develop new ideas, embrace that calculated risk we talked about, manage resources smartly, and lead a team. They're the spark, the visionary. Second element, the organization. This is like the backbone, the legal structure holding everything together. It's the framework that helps the entrepreneur get resources, find funding, build a customer base, hire good people. But the real trick isn't just setting up a company legally. It's building a structure that can actually, grow and change with the vision, be dynamic. Third is the opportunity. This is what the entrepreneur is chasing. That gap in the market and unmet need. Finding this is crucial. Usually takes deep market research, really understanding what people want or need. It's about finding a problem worth solving. And maybe more importantly, a problem enough people have to create a real market. And fourth, resources. These are the basics any project needs. Human capital, your team, the people. Financial capital, the money. And informational resources, data, knowledge, these are absolutely essential. But again, the real skill. The mark of a good entrepreneur often lies in how they use these resources. Optimizing them, especially when they're scarce, which they usually are at the start, getting the most impact with the least waste.
Okay, so it's not just having these things, but how you bring them all together, how you orchestrate them.
Yeah.
It's easy to think of entrepreneurship as this really modern thing, right? Tied to Silicon Valley, tech startups. But when we look at our sources, it's clear this drive, this impulse to create and innovate.
Yeah.
It goes way, way back, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Way back. Entrepreneurship at its core has ancient roots. Think about ancient civilizations, self-reliance, trade, mastering crafts. These were fundamental. The source mentions the Quraysh's historic winter and summer journeys. Those trips were vital in making Mecca a major trade hub in Arabia. That was a huge entrepreneurial undertaking, centuries before the word even existed. And Islamic heritage played a big role too, encouraging entrepreneurial activities. The tradition encouraged seeking a livelihood, traveling for trade, exchanging ideas, knowledge, goods across different lands. Our source even gives examples. Prophet Dawood, eating from his own labor. Prophet Zachariah, a carpenter. Prophet Muhammad, first a shepherd, later trading for Khadijah. These are really powerful historical examples of people working, creating, engaging in commerce.
Then fast forward to more modern times, and a few big things really kicked this trend into high gear. Globalization, for one. Opening up markets globally, that was a massive boost. It created huge new markets, tons of opportunities, even for smaller players, but also more intense competition internationally. And technology, of course. That's been a gigantic catalyst. New tech, easier access to information. It just made starting a business so much simpler in many ways. That led to this huge surge in entrepreneurs worldwide, especially younger people looking for financial independence and, yeah, willing to take those calculated risks.
And governments around the world definitely noticed. They recognized how vital entrepreneurship is for economic growth. So you started seeing widespread policies, support systems, funding, better laws, incentives for new ventures. Silicon Valley in California is kind of the poster child for this, right? Synonymous with tech, innovation, entrepreneurship. Its success really comes down to having loads of resources and a super supportive environment for startups. I mean, think of the companies that came out of there: Apple, Google, Facebook, Tesla, Netflix. It's a living example of how the right ecosystem breeds success. And looking forward, the outlook seems really bright, full of opportunities, fueled by, faster tech growth, markets staying open, better global communication, more access to funding. It all points to a new wave of entrepreneurs tackling future challenges with fresh, innovative ideas.
Okay, so given this huge global momentum and the obvious benefits, what's been happening right here in Saudi Arabia? How is the kingdom working to build its own entrepreneurial scene? Feels like there's a real push.
You're absolutely right. Saudi Arabia has put a major focus on promoting entrepreneurship. Making it stronger is actually a key goal of Vision 2030. Specifically, the aim is to boost the contribution of small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to the economy, from 20% up to 35%. Vision 2030 sees entrepreneurship as a primary engine for growth, for creating jobs, tackling unemployment. And to make that happen, it stresses how important it is to build that supporting environment we talked about. That means access to funding, mentorship, training, development services, the whole package.
And the government has taken real, concrete steps, like establishing Monchat, right? The General Authority for SMEs, back in 2016, that was specifically set up to offer financial, technical, and training support. Plus, they've beefed up various funding bodies: the Social Development Bank, the Saudi Industrial Development Fund, Saudi Venture Capital, the SME Bank, all providing different kinds of funding options for entrepreneurs now. And it's not just money. They're building the ecosystem itself. We're seeing incubators and accelerators like Baydir and the National Entrepreneurship Institute popping up across the kingdom to help startups grow. There's the Kafala program, too, which guarantees loans for SMEs. That's huge. And broader stuff, like the National IT Development Program, plus initiatives from big Saudi companies, private firms, and nonprofits, all chipping in to support entrepreneurs at different stages. And crucially, they're trying to simplify things. Cut down on red tape, make it easier to start and run a business, offering incentives, exemptions, advice, training, making the whole environment more favorable. That sounds incredibly thorough, all those different programs and support systems. Is there like a particular challenge or hurdle for entrepreneurs in Saudi that these are really targeted, beyond just the usual startup difficulties?
That's a sharp question. Yes, beyond the general stuff, a key thing these initiatives tackle is really embedding a culture of innovation and risk-taking. For a long time, maybe the focus was more on traditional business models, so these programs are actively trying to shift that mindset. Encouraging truly innovative, high-growth ideas, often tech-driven. They're also working hard to streamline those bureaucratic hurdles that can really slow things down for a nimble startup. And connecting local entrepreneurs with global best practices, global funding networks. It's about mindset and mechanics. And you see the results. This new era of entrepreneurship in Saudi is really marked by a growing focus on innovation, on sustainable projects, environmental projects too. All these efforts combined, they're positioning the Saudi market as one of the most promising places for startups in the whole Middle East right now.
Okay, so bringing back to you, the listener, navigating this world of business, there's this common confusion, something that trips people up when they hear entrepreneurship. You really need to clear this up.
Absolutely crucial point. People often mix up entrepreneurship with just running a small business. Peter Drucker, the management expert, was very clear. These two things are distinctly different. Our source highlights 4 key differences. Think of them as like a checklist to see if something is truly entrepreneurial. Okay, first, vision. Small businesses. Their goal is usually a steady, decent income, something the owner can live on comfortably. It's about stability. Entrepreneurship. The vision is totally different. It's about creating continuous and lasting wealth, big riches, way beyond just the salary. The entrepreneur expects their project to make a huge leap, from maybe limited gains to substantial, even exponential wealth. Second difference, speed of wealth creation. Small projects tend to build wealth slowly over a long time. Often their potential for rapid growth is limited. It's a steady climb. Entrepreneurship, though, aims to generate that substantial wealth much faster, usually within, say, 5 to 10 years. It's built for speed and scale. Third, Risk. Small businesses generally try to play it safe, avoid too much risk. Often they copy existing proven models. Entrepreneurship, on the other hand, is defined by taking high but calculated risk. Remember, calculated. It's not being reckless, it's making that informed jump into uncertainty for a potentially much bigger reward. Honestly, without that element of studied risk, a project isn't really entrepreneurial, it's just a small business. And fourth, maybe the most important, innovation and creativity. This is fundamental. Entrepreneurship demands a strong commitment to innovation, turning novel ideas into profitable products or services. That's what creates a real competitive advantage, what drives that significant wealth creation. Small projects, they don't typically need major innovation. They often rely on imitation, maybe with just minor tweaks here and there. It doesn't reach that level of true game-changing innovation.
Right. So based on those 4 points, vision, speed, risk, innovation, let's try a quick thought experiment. Picture a standard corner grocery store. Been there for years, reliable. Now picture a new grocery delivery app. One that uses AI to guess your shopping list and gets local produce straight from farmers. Or think about a local car body shop versus, say, a new subscription service using AI and drones to diagnose car issues remotely and send mobile repair units. Which one fits the small business mold, and which one feels truly entrepreneurial based on those differences? It really clarifies things, doesn't it? So after digging into all of this, what really stands out to you? We've covered a lot: the core definition, the surprising history, the different types, the essential building blocks. We traced its journey through time and saw its exciting growth in Saudi Arabia. And importantly, we tackled that common confusion, that myth about small businesses versus entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and just to quickly hammer home that key distinction again, is it really boils down to the vision for lasting wealth, the speed it aims for, that willingness to take calculated risks, and most of all, that constant drive for innovation, which I think leads to a really important question for you, the listener. Now that you have this hopefully clearer understanding, think about the next new idea or business you come across. How will you look at it? How will you classify it? Is it just a small business doing its thing, providing a service? Or does it have that true spark of entrepreneurship? Is it designed to create lasting wealth, shake things up, maybe even reshape an industry through calculated risk and real innovation? Go out there and observe the world with these new eyes.